What's going on, everybody? Taking a look at Casper cryptocurrency. It's March 30th, 5:40 in the morning on the East Coast. Taking a look at these markets bright and early. Give you some of my thoughts here on Casper. For those holders, we have all been quite patient here. Things take time to play out, usually much longer than one expects. So taking a dive into Casper, we're on a daily chart and we are on TradingView. So it looks like today we are still at 7 cents, the high 7-cent range, up 0.5%. And some of my thoughts here, if we throw some Fibonacci's up on the chart, and we'll take this swing here, throw them down, swing high, swing low, you can see that Casper has been finding some overhead resistance. Let me zoom in here a bit at the, looks like the 618 Fibonacci level, which is right here on the chart, basically at right around 8 cents. You can see all of these wicks. So we have a wick on the 18th, the 19th, the 28th, and the 29th of March. So we are finding overhead resistance right at a Fibonacci level. That is pretty typical. You'll see that a lot in stocks, in cryptos. And so that also correlates with this whole area over to the left-hand side of the chart. All of this is overhead resistance for Casper. So we need to get above that and get back into this trading range here. And sometimes that just takes time for the price to consolidate. And when it's ready, it will move higher. And I think we are very, very close to that. We're in this basing structure here, and I think it's only a matter of time until we do break out above that. We'll get above this high of the 18th of March, and we'll get back up into these levels here. Now, we might find a little bit of resistance at that next fib level, which correlates with this high here of the 18th of March. That is the 786 fib level, and that is at, looks like it's around 0.088. So that high 8-cent range is basically our next level where Casper could find a little bit of trouble, but there is no guarantee of that. There is no guarantee that the price will stop there. The price could just move higher quite quickly, but that is an area to keep your eyes on. I personally think that when it starts to move, it'll just break above that and move right up into these higher levels here, this 9 to 10 cent or even higher. I think when it starts to move, it could be a strong breakout above that March 18th high of 0.89 cents. So that is my thoughts here on Casper. We want to see this thing obviously break out to the upside, and it's just taking some time. Usually things take a little bit longer in the markets than you expect, but if you look over to the left-hand side of the chart, there is a lot of overhead resistance here. So it is normal for this thing to be taking its time and finding a little bit of trouble from a overhead resistance point when there is this much price action hanging above it. But when it does get to be back up in this range, as long as it stays up in that range, that will be a good sign, and then it'll continue higher from here. We're heading into an interesting time here for the altcoins, so I think that will definitely help Casper. But like I said, we have to keep our eye on this 618 fib level, which is right around the 8-cent range, and that right now is the roadblock in the way for Casper. Assuming this thing does not roll over, then pretty confident it is heading higher from here. I was pretty confident, still am, that the lows were put in down in here on the 15th of March, give or take, mid-March. And why I was confident in that is because it was a double bottom off of this time frame over here from July in 2021. And that is a good floor of support for Casper that hopefully the price can build off of and move higher. We're also in what looks to be, let me zoom in here, a change in price trend from lower highs and lower lows to what looks like a higher low right here on the 22nd of March. And what we're waiting for next is that higher high to come in. And that'll be telling us that the trend has changed and we are in the early stages of an uptrend. And that first warning sign, a good warning sign that is, came in right in here on the 22nd of March. And that was the sign from Casper saying that this could be a higher low. And next is keep your eye out for a higher high. So basically a higher high would be above, let me draw a line here, basically above this high here, that March 18th high. So if we get a high above that, it will be a change in trend to the upside. And if you're not bullish, I would think you would be even more bullish, or you should get bullish at that point. So that is my thoughts on Casper. We obviously have much higher price targets for Casper using the fib levels, but it is just one day at a time here. And of course, there's nothing guaranteed in the market. This thing could roll over and head lower and consolidate for longer, but it looks pretty bullish right now. So you just have to have some patience and let this thing do what it's going to do. When it moves big. So you want to be positioned quite well. We were looking for that bottom down in here, and that's what we were talking about. Obviously, people were quite bearish. Usually that is a bullish sign, and that has played out quite well for anybody who was accumulating down in this mid 5-cent range. And we definitely were. Of course, not financial advice. All right, everybody, let me know your comments on Casper down in the video comments. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see how this thing plays out. I mean, it could break out quite strong, and that is what we are waiting for. Until then, you just got to have some patience. Let the market wear people out. And one way it does that is time in a position. People throw in the towel, chase other stocks or cryptos, and turn around and watch the asset they sold start to run. So you have to have patience and be in a position for a certain reason. And until that reason is no longer there, then there is no reason to get out of this position, at least for us anyways. So we'll see. I mean, this thing kind of has a cup with handle look to it. It's not perfect for all you perfect cup with handle chart patterns out there. Let me fix that actually. So yeah, it's definitely not a perfect rounding bottom, but you have this up here, and then we're pulling back, and you could see you would have an entry right at this area right here. So don't hold me accountable for that, because it's definitely not a perfect rounding cup pattern, but it is what it is. So all right, everybody, thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Consider subscribing to this channel for more content like this. And as always, I enjoy reading and getting back to the comments in the videos. So let me know. Let me know down there your thoughts on Casper. Like I said, go check out my other Casper videos where we use the Fibonacci's and we show much higher prices for Casper in the future. So we're holding strong, and until this thing shows weakness, we are staying bullish, and that is our play. All right, everybody, have a fantastic trading day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.